When it comes to vintage and antique cast iron cookware, Griswold was king. Now, there were other great founders out there like Wagner and Favorite Stove Range, just to name two, but most collectors would agree with me that Griswold was king. They made very high quality, absolutely gorgeous cast iron cookware. So, what I want to do is show you the different styles of Griswold logos that are out there. So I'm going to be going over Griswold's main and most popular logos. I will be leaving out a few. They're Griswold's Erie and their department store lines like Puritan, Merit, Victor, Iron Mountain series, and Good Health. And I'm going to be going over their main logos, specifically what I call their cross logo. And I'll give you a general timeline for all of these logos. So first up, we have the OG and one of my favorites, the Erie logo. These were made between 1800 and 1907, and there were 6 versions, what we call series of the Erie. Now, each of the 6 series were a little bit different depending on the style of handle, the heat ring, a pattern number. Some had maker's marks, different reinforcement on the lip, and possible different style of the Erie itself. Now, this is a 3rd series Erie made between 1890 and 1905. And these are incredibly thin and light. You won't really believe it until you feel it in your hands. And next up on the timeline are the slant logos. There are 2 different versions. First one, what is typically referred to as the slant Erie. This logo was made between 1906 and 1912. And you can see they switched over to an outer heat ring to an inset heat ring. So the second version of the slant logo we generally call the slant logo with EPU, meaning Erie, Pennsylvania, USA. So you can see the difference between the two here. They both have the pattern numbers, but there's a lot more on this skillet. This is when they started to identify the pieces, meaning this actually says cast iron skillet. For example, this is a baled griddle. At the top it says cast iron griddle. If it's a Dutch oven, it'll say cast iron Dutch oven, so on and so forth. You can see that this is the same style logo as this slant EPU. We have the EPU right here, slant logo there. And this style logo was made between 1909 and 1929. And not featured in this video is a slant logo EPU with a smooth bottom, meaning no heat ring. And those were made later between 1939 and 1944. But moving on to probably the most popular style logo is the Griswold large block logo. In shorthand, we call it the LBL. You see they ditched the italicized Griswold and went with regular block lettering, and they kept the Erie, PA, USA, the pattern number, and what type of piece it is up top. The large block logo was made between 1920 and 1930. And next up on the timeline, we have our smooth bottom large block logo. Very similar style, except the major difference is they got rid of this heat ring. And this logo was made between 1930 and 1939. And lastly, probably the least popular and least valued logo is the small block logo, or SBL. Here you can see they lost a ton of character. It's a tiny little logo. They brought back Erie, PA. They ditched the EPU. They ditched the large number at the top and just went with NO and the skillet size. These were much heavier and usually had a milled cooking surface. And there were 3 versions of this skillet, or series if you will, based off the handle size. This is their earlier handle style, made between 1939 and 1944. Then they had a later style handle, which looked a little flatter here in the middle. And that style was made between 1944 and 1957. And the other version of the handle is a slotted handle or a grooved handle. And those you would recognize very easily. And those were also made between 1944 and 1957. And then you'll notice from the top view that all of the skillets have numbers on the handle, except for the slant Erie and the regular Erie skillets. Now, with the slant Eries, some did have numbers on them, some did not. This one obviously does not. When it comes to the Erie, none of them had numbers on the handles. All right, so there you have it. These are the main Griswold logos and a general timeline for all of them. Now, when it comes to my personal taste, I generally don't like smooth bottom Griswolds. I think the heat ring gives them much more character. I really love the simplicity of the Eries, just Erie up top in quotes. To me, very simple, very basic. I kind of love that style. But the Eries are amazing. The ones with the EPUs, fantastic. The large block logos, they're all gorgeous. They're all super high quality. And that's why Griswold really was the king.